If you've ever fallen off or lost momentum and felt like you just got off track and you're not sure how to get back on, this episode's for you. Now, I want to talk about this because, hey, I actually missed 2 weeks of posting. And sure, I can blame it on life and being busy and things were not set or things were not right or people canceled or things just didn't quite align the way I wanted them to. But in reality, I was just overthinking it. Welcome to the Not Perfect But Ready podcast. I'm your host, Alexander Clark. And by the end of this episode, I want to talk about how we can gain momentum, how we can reset the focus and get back on track to do the very thing we feel called and led to do. So let's talk about it. All right, like I said, I missed 2 weeks. And when I sit back and think about what was I doing in that time, I was working, but I was also trying to create content, trying to get back into writing, trying to even get back into some of my poetry work. And every time I had an idea to put out or to show or to just write down and create, for whatever reason, I didn't. And I'm not sure why. Now, outside of me thinking back on certain times where this type of behavior just continued as a pattern, I would say it's just mainly me procrastinating, mainly me just wanting things to look a little different or to be prepared in a certain way. And you may be thinking the same thing. You may be in that situation right now where you're sitting on the idea, you're sitting on a gift, you're sitting on a plan and a vision that you have because for whatever reason, you're either overthinking it or you're just not moving. You lost momentum. And I don't know what it is. I try to sit back and think about what shifted or what could have shifted the thought process in the midst of all that, in the midst of what I was going through. And I wrote down a few things as far as, what I want to talk about or at least how I want to get back into action because I know I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of us out there right now haven't done the thing we wanted to do. We haven't painted a picture in months. We haven't went out and created a dance routine in a year, or we haven't built something in our wood shop in weeks because we're just sitting on ideas for whatever reason of doubt, fear, frustration, or just lack of momentum and motivation. But why? For me personally, I can say my why is just being distracted, just choosing to do other things outside of what I should be doing, making things my problem that's not my problem, handling things that I can delegate, just overworking myself in areas in life that have either A, nothing to do with me, or B, it's not a priority. So, what are the things in your life that you're basically overworking yourself with? What are the things that are not a priority to you, but you make it a priority and it becomes a distraction or it becomes the thing that takes up your time to do the thing you're called to do, the business you're called to start, the video you were going to shoot, the poem you were going to write? What are you making? What temporary fixes are you making priority projects? What are the things that you can actually delegate? And that's a tough thing to do. That's a tough thing that I'm learning now is just delegation. Having people do things that I know I could do or could possibly even do better. Understanding that this isn't me being lazy. This is me freeing up my time to do the thing I need to do, to doing the thing that's a more priority for me to be doing. And maybe you're not struggling with delegation. Maybe you already know how to tell people what to do or how to pass things off to the right person. And delegation is not your issue, but maybe it's overthinking or maybe it's legitly just finding something else to do. I got news for you. It never ends. Well, actually, yeah, it does end the same with you still not doing what you should be doing. So let's talk about it. And I realized like the longer I waited, the harder it was to come back. The harder it was to hit record or the harder it was to set up the studio. And every day it just felt like, oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. But I never did. So that's a word for you. The longer you wait, the harder it is to get back on track. So just do it. I want to talk about the first thing that I had to shift in my head and get rid of. And that was removing the pressure to be perfect. When I reflect on how the last 2 weeks went, as much as I was trying to write things down and getting things figured out and having all these ideas, I was still trying to make it right or make it perfect. And again, that's the beauty about this podcast is it's not really even for y'all, it's for me. Like somebody is going to benefit from this content and I love that and I appreciate that. And that's the hope is that my story and the stories of those I bring on that they share, that is going to inspire you to transform into the person you're supposed to be for that transformation that shifts in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit to say, you know what? I can do it. I can get started. I can do the thing I feel called to do. I can be the best in my gift, whatever that situation is or whatever that thing is for you. And right now, that's the season I'm in. And that's one thing I love about this podcast is it's not an opportunity for me to give an excuse of why I missed 2 weeks. And well, I guess we can't expect him to be consistent. No, it's an opportunity for me to be real and for y'all to see the real me and the real thing. This isn't all a finished product, right? It's still growing. I'm still growing. So I just want to share those things. And I'm happy that y'all are coming along this journey with me because we all have something that we're still growing in. And I want to be that support for you as you all have been supporting me, that no matter what we go through, we can do it. You can do it. You just have to believe and trust yourself and don't beat yourself up when you fall short or don't beat yourself up when you miss a day or skip something. But don't give yourself an excuse to keep skipping or to keep repeating that thing. Get up and get back on track because getting back on track isn't about motivation, really. It's really about having a simple way to reset. How do I reset the focus? Something's got me off. How do I get back on? And what we're going to do, we're going to identify that thing. What was it? What is it? Write it down. That way, next time that thing comes around to try to offset you, you can already be ready to block it. You can already get back on track. You can already basically go over that hurdle and clear it and it'll be done. So it's really not about motivation because you're not going to feel motivated half the time. You're going to feel like you're lost. You're going to feel like you're missing out or you're behind even. So don't focus on that. And when it's all about removing the pressure of being perfect, I wrote down here, you don't need your best. You need your next. You don't need to put out your best. You just need to put out what's next. Just put something out. Just do it. And when it comes to content, as far as this goes, I learned from Omar El Takori, no one knows me right now. So why am I worried about everything looking spickety sparkety span or sounding the best? It just needs to come out. I just need to do what's next. I just need to put out my next. I don't have to worry about my best. I just need to put out my next. Same thing for you. No one is really watching you or listening to you like that. So why are you worried about everything has to be the best? No. And even if people were, they want the real you. They want the mistakes. They want the realizations. They want the rawness of how it actually happens, how it actually works, how things can actually not work. So like why are we waiting for our best? Let's do what's next. The second thing I realized in this time frame is like when it comes to coming back or getting back on track, you have to strength like the expectations. You have to strength the comeback. You have to not try to make it so bigger than it was before because that will make you overthink things. That will make you just basically over prepare for something that you're not even ready for. And what I mean by that, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how I was going to come back and have all these guests or a certain guest and have this long drawn out conversation about this XYZ only to find out that I didn't need any of that. I just need to be real with my audience. I just need to be real with my listeners and tell them, you know what? Hey, I'm not even going to try to make this a celebration. I'm going to just let you know straight up. Yep, I missed 2 weeks. I've been out, got off track. My focus has been on other things. I've allowed certain things at work to take over as priority of my gift, my calling. And that, to a degree, is necessary, right? We got to have a job. We got to take care of our job. But at the same time, you got to have a routine and a schedule to where you can delegate time to do what you're called to do things like this, if this is what you're into, or to paint or do some woodwork, whatever it is. You gotta still dedicate that time. So that's what I mean by shrinking the comeback. Don't try to, if you found yourself falling off or you found yourself just missing out on a few things, don't try to come back super hard and with all this extra stuff. Just show up. That's all. Just show up. Take one action, one step. Don't try to make this whole plethora of things that you got to come back to prove to everybody that this is what you want to do and all this other stuff. Like, you don't have to do that. Just show up. And the last thing I wanted to basically leave y'all with, as far as getting back on track or just finding that motivation again, is just understanding that, you have to take action before you feel ready. And I just have action ready. What I mean by that is, just do it. Just move. You're not going to feel ready. You're not going to feel like doing it. I don't feel like going into the gym, but I move anyway. And usually in the action, the feeling becomes real. It changes, it shifts, because now you're starting to understand purpose, value, reasoning behind the results, things of just doing this, right? I don't know what that is for you, but think about that. What is something that you're waiting to feel right about instead of just going about it? Like, there's things in our lives that we are so focused on how we feel about it that we do nothing about it at all. And you know what you need to be doing. You know what you should be doing. So stop waiting until your feelings feel. Just do it. Just go run. Just go lift. Just, start the diet. Just press record. Just get out the pen and paper. Just start writing, whatever it is. And if you're in a place where you can just stop everything you're doing right now and just get to it right now. Because feelings are real, but they can also be a distraction and a hindrance to basically stopping you from doing the thing you need to do. I'm not saying don't pay attention to them, but I'm also saying, if you know it is something you need to be doing, forget how you feel. Get it done. Side note on that, clarity comes from action. It doesn't come when you're sitting still. Minute you move, the minute you start to have clarity. And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, like, basically when you're driving in the fog, you won't see the end of the road until you go further into the fog. Yeah, everything seems scary. Yeah, everything's a little blurry and hazy, but you're not going to see the end until you drive through. Sometimes we're waiting for the fog or the vision and the things to clear up. And in the midst of it trying to clear up, we have been sitting for so long on that gift that by the time things are clear, we won't even want to move because we're comfortable now. We've been still for so long. You're going to start thinking, oh, now it's too late. Or, well, now someone else is already doing that, and you're not going to move at all. So don't wait for it to be clear. Get going now. And as you go in the action, it becomes clearer. So move. I'm not going to keep y'all long today. I just wanted to really get on here and just, be real. I missed my time, but I'm back. And, that's the beauty about this podcast, is we are here to be real. And yeah, I've been busy, but it didn't have to stop me from doing this. I got in my head. I tried to make things bigger than what they needed to be. And I tried to over prepare for a show that didn't need all that. It just needed me. So that's what the Not Perfect But Ready podcast means. It doesn't need to be perfect, but if you're ready, get going. So if you've been off track, this is your reset. And I want y'all to remember this. Most people don't fail. They just stop showing up. I'll repeat that again. Most people don't fail. They just stop showing up. You have not failed. You just need to show up. So thank y'all for tuning in to the Not Perfect But Ready podcast. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so that you can get notifications of the next episodes. And if you have things that you would like me to discuss, please inbox me or send me a DM as soon as you can so that we can talk about it. Thank y'all for tuning into the podcast where we choose progress over perfection every time. I'll see y'all in the next one.